And that interesting thing is that Nixon is going to be forced to hand them over. It goes all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, you got to hand the tapes over, President Nixon. And so he does. He hands them over to the House of Representatives, and a committee in the House of Representatives, the House Judiciary Committee, votes to impeach Nixon on 3 charges. He says obstructing justice, misusing federal agencies, and defying the authority of Congress. But here's the trick. This doesn't mean he's guilty. It just means that he's going to trial. Now, Nixon has a choice to make. He can go to trial, but if he loses, then he's kicked out. Only one of our presidents been tossed before. Interesting. So does Nixon want to take that chance or doesn't he? Instead, Nixon writes this letter right here. That's his resignation. President Nixon is the only president to have resigned from the United States of America as the highest office in the land. The only one. He's the first one, and he's the only one to ever resign. And now, Gerald Ford, who becomes the new president, that was his vice president, Gerald Ford now has a question to answer, because Gerald Ford obviously does not want any of this Watergate stuff hanging around, right? Oh, go, Richard, go and take that other thing with you. Take Watergate with you, Nixon, as you get out of here, right? Just get out of here. And so he has this question about what to do. What do I do with Nixon? Do I put him on trial? Do we not put him on trial? What do we end up doing? And the result here is that Nixon is going to receive a pardon. He's going to receive a pardon from President Ford. Now, why would President Ford do this? Why would he give Nixon a pardon? And a pardon, by the way, frees you of any crimes you might have ever committed. You can't ever be put on trial for anything you've ever done. So why would he do this? Because he's worried that a public trial will drag on forever, and America will never get over Watergate, ever. Well, you can imagine how many Americans responded to this, right? This idea that by pardoning Nixon, we can never put this man on trial, but he will never be found guilty. He gets away with it. Nixon never says, I'm sorry. Never says, I'm sorry. And this really upsets people. It diminishes his popularity. Some people begin to make jokes about it. They're going to vote for Jimmy Carter in 1977 as opposed to Gerald Ford because they're angry over this pardon. And really, you go back and you look at that Watergate list, everyone's apprehended except this guy right here. He's never arrested, never put on trial, never convicted. And America has a wound still. Sometimes it's a big problem, sometimes it's a little problem, but we have a very serious distrust now of kind of the world around us. So that's a good start, and we'll continue to take a look at this as we go forward.